Low Country Spotlight. For those of you who are local to this area, back in June of 2014, there was a horrible event that occurred that took the life of one of our community members. Her name was Ariel Morgan. She was a local student, had graduated Stratford High School, was a student at Francis Marion College, and just like college kids who are home for the holidays, for the summer break, she decided that she wanted to go to a party. Unfortunately, that decision that she made to go to the party, which in turn intersected with some decisions that some, I'm just going to say, thugs made to begin shooting at this party, caused her to lose her life. Today we have in the studio with us Ariel's mother. Her name is Kendra Morgan. So Kendra, I want to welcome you to Low Country Spotlight.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to come and share with us today.
You're welcome.
Talk to us a little bit about Ariel. I follow you on Facebook and social media, and I didn't know her personally, have some friends, some of my daughter's friends who did know her, and she just seemed to be such a delightful young lady.
Ariel was a bright young lady. She liked to have fun, and she enjoyed life. You know, she had the best smile in the world that you would just fall in love with her. You know, she had her bad days, I will be honest, but that's with all kids. But for the most part, she enjoyed life and she enjoyed school. She wanted to be a pediatric nurse. Her grandmother was a retired nurse, so she wanted to follow in her footsteps.
Wow.
So Francis Marion was her choice to go to college at. But in the meantime, she enjoyed her friends, and she had a boyfriend, and she had a little brother that she loved very much. He actually turned 16 on Tuesday.
Wow, wow. Take us a little bit back to 2 summers ago when, you know, you all are home and you're just doing, you know, what normal families do. You're enjoying the summer, enjoying her being home for the summer break and things of that nature.
Well, 2 summers ago, you got to remember, that's when she graduated from high school, which was 2013. So, you know, in the midst of getting ready for college, she was enjoying going to parties, hanging out with her friends, and also work. She worked in the mall at Rack Room Shoes. So it was just like, you know, living a normal life like nothing, you know, just like nothing. But, you know, a year later, you know, she went to college, she came home on break, and then unfortunately you know, the party took her life.
Right. And you know, this is such a lesson, I think, for parents, because quite honestly, my daughter and her friends who were home from college, they were heading to that party. And my daughter and her friends had gone to another party in Mount Pleasant and decided, okay, we're going to go to the party in Mounts Corner. And when they got to the exit to get ready to get off to go to the party, they got a call where people said, don't come because there's been shooting. So it's almost like, as a parent, we want them to go out, we want them to have fun, enjoy their friends, enjoy their freedom, but what do you do when, you know, there's some potential for danger out there and we just sometimes don't know how to respond?
Well, in all actuality, you really don't know where the danger is. Look what happened at Walmart the other day. Look what happened, you know, years back at the Olympics. So you really don't know exactly, you know, where the danger is going to be. Even, I'm from Flint, Michigan. That's one of the roughest cities around here in the United States. So you just really don't know, you know, where the danger is. You can't seclude your kids. I never like secluded my, you know, kids. So I couldn't say, well, you can't go there, you know, because of this. Even though afterwards you hear that area was bad, but I would have never known anything about that area. So you really can't just say, well, you know, only thing you can just say is be careful. You know, and I actually taught her to be careful about things, and actually she was a very advocate about gun violence, which was amazing. But you know, it just was, I guess it was just her time, as they tell me.
Right. And you know, and to hear you say that, and to hear the fact that that's where you are at this point in your life is just absolutely phenomenal. You know, none of us as parents want to walk in your shoes, but the fact that you have gained a semblance of peace about it, I think is a testament to your faith and your strength and all of that.
I'm at that point some days, and some days I'm not. But I know that, you know, you don't know where the violence is going to take place. You really don't know it. You know, you can go to work, someone can come up and hear shooting. You would never know. And which is an unfortunate situation. That's the type of life we are in this day and time. You know, back in the day, you used to can pinpoint where not to go, where the area is, but just nowadays you just never know.
Right. And one of the things that you mentioned about Ariel was that she was an advocate for gun control and, being aware of gun violence. Talk to us a little bit about her thoughts on that topic.
I mean, she actually had wrote a paper about for college at the Sandy Hook incident that took place, and then because I actually found it, it's in her room, and I finally found that, and she just talked about how the background checks, which, how illegal guns shouldn't be purchased. Then that's where really it comes from, illegal guns. You can't get mad at, like, say for instance, you going to buy a gun,
right,
but the person who breaks in your house and takes a gun, that's where the illegal guns come from, off the streets, not just they're being stolen. So she just, she just didn't like gun violence overall.
Right. And even just this week, there's been a lot of talk in the news. Again, you've referenced so many gun violence incidents, from Sandy Hook to right here in our own backyard, Walmart the other day, to the violence at, Emmanuel AME Church. And President Obama has actually laid out some thoughts in executive order related to, addressing gun violence and the issues with background checks. Talk to us about why, again, you think that the background checks are so important, and how the background checks potentially, from your perspective, would avoid some of the gun violence that we're experiencing.
Even if you did the background checks, they're going to come back good.
Yeah.
Of course. And then the person buy the gun. Okay. But in my opinion, it's the illegal guns. Like I said, I can buy a gun, and someone can break in my house and steal my gun.
Right.
And even though our report is stolen, it's still in the streets. And that's where, in turn, a person uses a gun illegally.
Yeah.
So the background checks is good, but you also got to look at the point of if the gun is stolen, and the person who's stealing the gun is going to use it. The person who owns the gun is going to be covered, especially if they report it stolen.
Right.
So that's where the illegal guns comes from.
Yeah, yeah. Now tell us where you are, and I just even hesitate to ask this, in terms of the investigation. It's been 2.5 years?
No, it's been just a year.
It's just been a year and a half. Okay.
2014.
2014. So tell us just from this, in terms of where you are, where the investigation is going, and what you've been able to learn, if anything at all.
I really don't know. They don't tell me as much. I know they're working on it. I talk to them at least once or twice a week, and they call them. If they don't call me, I'll call them, just to keep me abreast of things. But it just, they will say that they can't, give me a lot of information in reference to names and locations and things. I don't even know what type of gun Ariel was shot with, because I didn't ask.
Yeah. Well, as the victim of violence and the victim of this horrific crime, I want you to look in the camera. The reason I want you on here, I want you to make an appeal, because it bothers me, the fact that this is unsolved. The fact that you had a whole bunch of kids out there, and somebody saw something and someone knows something. I want you to look in the camera, and I want you to make an appeal about what you want for the public to do to help you with this.
If anyone knows anything about Ariel's murder, please contact Berkeley County Sheriff's Office. I would like for you to put yourself in my shoes and to know what my family is going through, as well as her friends, to have a murder that's unsolved. Just sit back and just think, what if it was me? You would want someone to step up to the plate and say who did it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for tuning in Low Country Spotlight. We'll see you on the next show.